What is up, y'all? This is Bodie, back again with Bodie Tree Social. And today I'm gonna discuss the nature of projection and reflection. What projection is, fundamentally, is when you project certain characteristics, behaviors, ways of being, etc. onto other people that you yourself actually embody. So for instance, you may tell someone that they are very argumentative or immature in how they communicate, or very reactive. Whereas in fact, you are embodying this type of energy. And so what is happening is they are reflecting it back to you. And so you are actually assuming that they're the ones embodying that energy. Where this is, of course it's true, in that moment they are embodying that energy. But the question is why? If we live in a reality that essentially is like a mirror hologram, where what we have going on within us is being reflected back to us, then anything that we are experiencing from other people must resonate with something within ourselves, right? You may even notice in yourself, around some people you feel super calm and chill and relaxed. Maybe you never argue with them or become charged up or reactive, but then other people, they seem to really get on your nerves or push your buttons or irritate you, even annoy you. Why is that? Yes, of course, this is present within you, and you could fully resolve this and you could be completely non-reactive. But in that instance, you very well would not resonate with people who embody that way of being. You'd actually, because of the law of attraction, you would zig and they would zag. You would be in a different time-space reality. Essentially, you wouldn't really interact with them, right? If you are fully non-reactive, embodied in that energy at a certain vibration, you could say. So the fact that you are, engaging with them means that there is something there that resonates, right? But at the same time, because people will embody a certain energy, it will want to pull that energy out of you. The energy that they embody, you will start to take that on, especially if you are highly empathic. People who are very empathic will absorb it like a sponge. They'll feel what people are feeling, right? They'll take it on as if it's their own energy. Now there's other people who are more closed off to this, who are more narcissistic, and these are the types of people who tend to project the most. It's never me. The problem is never me. It's always the other person. I'm not wrong. I'm not at fault here. But this other person, there's something about them that's off. They're wrong. Or they're the ones causing the problems, etc. You know what I mean? So it's important to notice, when are you projecting? When are you actually embodying a certain energy that is being reflected back to you in the other person, and then you're saying, it's this person, whereas in fact it's in you. And the reality of the situation is, because this is all, you could say, a mirror hologram, it's all just a reflection of what's going on within yourself. There's no such thing as something that is only in the other person. It's always a reflection. So anytime you say this person is this way, or they did this to me, blah, 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 there's something they are reflecting back to you. And until you can fully take personal responsibility for that, you will not evolve on the path of self-realization, of enlightenment, of achieving these higher transcended states of being, these transcendental states of being, these higher paradigms. You will hit a ceiling. As long as you're pointing the finger and being very critical of people and saying how they're wrong and they're bad and this person did this, you'll hit a ceiling in terms of how high your vibration can raise, sort of paradigm that you can exist in and operate. But when you stop pointing the finger, and when people maybe react to you, maybe argue with you, something happens, there's a dispute, there's a conflict, and you say, okay, what is this showing me within myself? You take responsibility, personal responsibility for what is arising in your field. This allows you to elevate into a higher paradigm, a higher state of consciousness. And when you fully take personal responsibility for everything unfolding in your life, all the people who come in, the different behaviors and character traits that they embody, that they're expressing and they're reflecting back to you, you take full responsibility, right? This doesn't mean to not have boundaries. This doesn't mean if someone is beating you, is punching you, you're like, well, it's just a reflection of what's already in me. I'm just gonna take it. No, you still stand up for yourself and set boundaries, of course, right? I'm not negating the absolute critical, essential component of having strong boundaries. And when you start to have strong boundaries, you're like, hey, I'm not willing to put up with this behavior. If this is how you're going to continue to behave, we can part ways. You have strong boundaries. You're like, I'm willing to work it out. You know, if you love someone, I'm willing to work it out with you. You know, see if we can get on the same page. But if not, hey, it's okay. We can part ways. I'm not willing to put up with this type of behavior in my space, while at the same time owning the part of you that is being reflected through that. You can have both, right? It's not just one or the other. So it's really important to realize that. And then when you start to set these boundaries, you'll actually start to reflect people into your space who honor these boundaries, who they themselves are capable of setting boundaries and expressing that to you. And they also can honor it. And the more you step into authentic communication, the more you'll start to reflect that back to you too. So it's all about taking personal responsibility and noticing what is being reflected back to you. Noticing, are you projecting? Is someone else projecting? But again, even if you think, oh, this person's projecting, well, what is being reflected back to you there? You know, because you can go back and forth, you're projecting, no, you're projecting, and you get nowhere, right? You get nowhere. So your breath, take personal responsibility for what's being reflected back to you. Okay, what is this showing me within myself? Let's find the root of that. Let's resolve it. Let's address it. Let's shine the light of awareness on it. And by shining the light of awareness on it, you are able to transmute it. You're able to transcend into a higher paradigm, because these things that are reflected back to you, oftentimes, especially the more negative things, are things that have been suppressed. They're deep in the unconscious and in the subconscious. And so the gift of other people in relationships is that they can reflect these things back to you. And it gives you an opportunity to address it. Whereas if you're just by yourself all the time, it's not really the best way to go about resolving these things that really are only relevant in interpersonal relationships, because that's where they come up most strongly. So it's really important to notice what is being reflected to me. How can I notice within myself what's being reflected? And how can I work on resolving these things that are maybe giving me a reflection that isn't so pleasant or enjoyable? Something I don't really want in my field. How can I address it, resolve it, do the necessary inner work? Whether that's trauma release, whether that's changing subconscious beliefs, whether that's processing a stuck emotion, whatever it is, you address it. Doing some sort of inner parts work, working with different parts of the psyche, getting your own internal parts on the same page, etc., etc. Whatever it is, it's so important to address it and to use relationships as that mirror, as that reflection, to reflect back to you what's going on within you. Super important. That's what relationships are really for. Relationships aren't here to save you, but they're also not here to torment you. They're here to just serve you as a teacher. That's all it is, to show you what is going on within you, especially what's going on within the subconscious, so that you can bring awareness to it and you can elevate and evolve your paradigm, expand your consciousness, evolve into these higher paradigms and higher states of consciousness, where you reside in a space that is non-reactive, and you're getting a reflection back to you of what you embody. And the highest is that state of peace, unconditional love, presence, happiness, joy, all that, right? That's what we all want. So we just gotta notice the things that are in the way of that and allow it to unfold like a flower blossoming. You don't have to try to grab it. I need the happiness, I need the joy, I need this, I need that. No. Allow it to unfold by releasing the different fetters, the different anchors that are holding you to these lower states of being and consciousness. And that's what relationships will reflect back to you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, this has been Bodhi Tree Social. And as always, remember to live this life from a peak experience boom. Talk to you guys again soon. Much love to each and every one of you. Peace.